Hello, everybody. This is Gerald Celente, and it's Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. And we have with us Judge Andrew Napolitano. As I say over and over, and we'll repeat and repeat, there's no one in America that speaks out for we the people regarding the Constitution and the Bill of Rights than Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, thanks for being here today.
Oh, pleasure to be with you, Gerald. It seems like a Tuesday because of Labor Day, but it's Wednesday.
Judge, you have an article coming out, and again, most people have no idea about what you're going to be writing about in your article, but it's very important because it really connects to how we the people have lost our rights, and the military industrial complex and the politicians are running the country. It used to be we the people. What's the beginning of the Constitution, Judge? What does it say about we the people?
We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish peace and domestic prosperity, and provide for the general welfare, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. That's the preamble.
Yeah. Gone. Wiped out.
Well, it's not for the people anymore. It's for the billionaires, the military industrial complex, and whoever happens to be in the White House. We have a presidency, a runaway presidency, and a Congress that doesn't care when the president exercises powers that are given to the Congress.
Congress, a bunch of little low-life nobodies that suck up and bow down to the people that give them the money. Here, this is just out in the Wall Street Journal. You mentioned billionaires. What we know about America's billionaires, 1,135 and counting. Exclusive, up-close look at the richest people in the U.S. Isn't that nice? They don't give a penny for peace. They don't give a penny for the Renaissance. All they're interested in is making more money for themselves. All we become are plantation workers of slavelandia, as I call it. Judge, you have an article coming out, and again, most people have no idea about this, but it's very important. The feds defend their torturers again. They're torturers again. While the public attention this summer has been drawn to masked ICE agents arresting folks without warrants, presidentially imposed sales tax on goods emanating from foreign countries that have been invalidated by 3 federal courts, and the fruitless kabaki dance between President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Anchorage, Alaska last month, the federal government continues its slow assault on the Constitution. And you talk about what's going on. Again, this is your language, the U.S. naval base in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Again, before you go forward, the U.S. naval base in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba? What the hell are we doing in Cuba?
Well, we leased property in the Roosevelt years, the Teddy Roosevelt years, for 99 years, and we never left. And when George W. Bush decided he could operate a sort of devil's island there, torture, don't worry about the Constitution, don't worry about federal laws, federal judges can't reach you, the Supreme Court said, forget about it. You overstayed your stay. It's the functional equivalent of permanent residency there. Wherever the government goes for more than a fleeting moment, the Constitution is there, federal laws follow and must be enforced, and federal judges can interpret what's going on. So rather than allow the people whom the government believes perpetrated 9/11 to be prosecuted in regular federal courts, if they had been, this would have been over with 20 years ago, at the suggestion of Senator Lindsey Graham, the government established these military tribunals, which have been going on and on and on and on and on. They're on their 4th judge, and they're on their 4th prosecution team. They can't get a fifth judge. The judges keep retiring because the military rotates you through assignments every 4 years. They can't get a fifth judge because whoever the judge is has to read 40,000 pages of documents before he can start the trial. Well, who the hell wants to do that?
And again, you're talking about this guy that they
I'm talking about a guy that was brutalized, tortured so extensively. His mind was described as malleable. He would say whatever the torturers or the interrogators wanted him to say. And a federal military judge did the right thing and threw out the confession that he made after 1,000 torture sessions.
Yep. You write that down. You said that ruled, what was his name? Al-Baluchi?
Belushi, just like John Belushi, same name.
Yeah, has been tortured aggressively more than 1,000 times. He has been waterboarded, sodomized, denied sleep for long periods, and chained up like a pretzel so his muscles were continuously stressed. Look what they did to this. This is America? Heil Hitler.
They even had, you ready for this? CIA apprentices, guys studying in quotes to become CIA agents, take their turns smashing his head against a wall. This I've never seen before, but this was admitted to in testimony. This is the type of stuff that caused the judge to throw out the confessions. Now, whoever authorized all of this must have known that this would come out and must have known that any evidence derived from this type of behavior would be inadmissible. The behavior itself is criminal. Bush must have pardoned the torturers because there's no statute of limitations on torture. These people could be prosecuted today. Now they have a criminal case of a guy who probably did what they said he did, but they have no evidence against him. They didn't bother getting any corroborating evidence. They just got his confession. So all of this is going to be fruitless. They have cases that they can't try and charges that they can't prove because of Dick Cheney, George W. Bush, Alberto Gonzales, Lindsey Graham, and their enhanced interrogation, otherwise known as severe torture techniques.
You go on to say this guy, Belushi, is the nephew of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the so-called mastermind of the attacks on 9/11. So-called because Osama bin Laden was the person designated by the feds as the mastermind until they murdered him and his family, without any 9/11 related charges having been filed against him.
They never filed charges against Osama bin Laden. They conditioned the American public to believe he was the mastermind. They invaded his house and murdered him, a crime under American law and Pakistani law. They didn't arrest him. They couldn't arrest him. There was no arrest warrant out for him because there were no charges filed against him. Then after they destroyed his body, they decided, oh, well, he wasn't the mastermind. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was. Then they entered into a plea agreement with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed for life in prison. And then the Secretary of Defense at the time, Lloyd Austin, decided he didn't like the plea agreement. He ordered his own prosecutors to ask the court to rescind it. The court said, what are you, crazy? You guys just asked me to sign it. I signed it. I'm not rescinding it. An appellate court reversed. Now they don't have a trial judge because the same trial judge in the Al-Baluchi case is the one in this case who signed the plea agreement, and he retired. And nobody wants to take his place.
You know, going back to Osama bin Laden, you know who was the first guy to support him?
Who?
Jimmy Carter. Remember Brzezinski, that low-life piece of scum that should rot in hell? We got to stop them Russians from going into Afghanistan.
Right. So we'll pay bin Laden and his people, right?
That's right. Jimmy Carter, all the little peanut farmer with that brain the size of a peanut. That's the clown boy. That's the guy that gave us Osama bin Laden, but nobody talks about that. And then going on to what you were talking about, what does Lloyd Austin? Oh, this is the Lloyd Austin that said that the Russians were going to be defeated in the Ukraine war. That Lloyd Austin?
Correct. The same Lloyd Austin that disappeared for weeks at a time without telling the president or his own staff where the hell he was.
Lloyd Austin. This article that you have, again, it's very sad. Nobody cares about this, and think about all the money, the money they steal from us to keep Guantanamo going.
Oh, it's $500 million a year.
$500 million a year.
Yeah,
As the
you know how many prisoners are there? 15. At one point, it held 700. You know how many trials there have been at Gitmo for 9/11? It's an easy number to remember. Zero.
It's a freak show.
A monumental failure and disaster. Thank you, Alberto Gonzalez, George W. Bush, and Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
Oh, and Dick Cheney.
You got to be proper. I don't want to get blacklisted. You can't call him Dick Cheney. You got penis Cheney. You have to be proper. Don't call him a dick.
That's the Bronx in you.
Yeah. Judge, what's going on? What else you see that's going on important that the people should know about?
Well, people should know that 2 days ago, the President of the United States directed the United States Navy to blow up a speedboat that had 11 young men on it, whom the President said were trying to deliver drugs to the United States of America. This occurred in international waters, but off the coast of Venezuela. This amounted to a pre-conviction extrajudicial execution, otherwise known as murder. We don't do that to people in this country. If you think they're delivering drugs to the United States, you wait until the boat enters American waters, you stop the boat, you search the boat. If there are no drugs, you let them go. If there are drugs, you seize the drugs and you arrest the people on the boat. You don't execute them for a crime that wasn't charged and wasn't proven. And even if it had been charged and had been proven, doesn't carry the death penalty. That's what Trump did yesterday. How many people can he kill and get away with it? Who in the Congress is complaining about this? Nobody.
Again, you were talking about the killing of Osama bin Laden. Under whose presidency was that? The Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner, Barack Obama, quoted in the book, Double Down, I'm really good at killing people.
Yes.
One after another. Oh, and this is the Trump that sold himself during the election as a peace candidate.
Correct. This is the Trump that said the Ukraine war will be over in 24 hours. Last week, he authorized 3,500 medium-range offensive missiles with a distance traveling capacity of 280 miles. That's enough to reach major Russian cities, to be fired off by the Ukrainians.
We've been writing about each week in the Trends Journal, not each week, but for years, actually, about Trump trying to overthrow the Maduro government back when he was president in 2019. People have no idea about that. And now they're putting up this baloney that they're doing it because of drug trafficking. Remember, he was bringing in that little boy Guaido, that little jerk?
Who today is a grad student at the University of Miami. That's the guy that they claim is the true president of Venezuela. I mean, you can't make this up.
Yeah. And again, this is a quote before they bombed that boat. Asked whether Trump was planning military strikes on Venezuela or to conduct operations on its soil, White House press secretary Carolyn, Levitt?
Yes.
Said on Thursday that the president, quote, was prepared to use every element of American power to stop drugs from flooding into our country. and to bring those responsible to justice. Maduro, she said, you ready? Was not a legitimate president. He is a fugitive head of this drug cartel.
Wow. There's no known public evidence of which I'm aware to support that.
This is terrible what's going on. And
well, you know, in his first term, he assassinated General Soleimani and there were no repercussions. So we should expect more of this. Killing without legal repercussions. Killing people that are arguably unpopular. Killing people he has demonized so he has public support behind him. But this wreaks havoc on the concept of due process. If the president could say, you're committing a crime, you're guilty, I'm going to kill you. What about the Fifth Amendment that says the government shall not take life, liberty, or property without due process of law from any person, not just an American citizen, any person?
Netanyahu says Trump told him, quote, no partial deals, go with full force in Gaza.
Trump is financing war crimes indifferent to the horrific human suffering that he could stop with a phone call.
Trump, Israel was the strongest lobby I've ever seen. They had total control over Congress. Did you see that?
I didn't see that, but that's true.
This is from Haaretz, the Israeli newspaper. U.S. President Donald Trump said he understands his base is becoming increasingly critical of Israel before repeating tropes about the warning of the pro-Israel lobby because of progressive Democrats. He goes on to say, Trump pointed to his own record on the issue, saying, you ready? Nobody has done more for Israel than I have. He cited recent attacks, this is a quote, with Iran wiping that thing out. That's his quote.
Wow.
I will tell you, Israel had the strongest lobby in Congress of anything or body or any company or corporation or state that I've ever seen. Israel was the strongest. Isn't that great? That's coming out of Trump's mouth.
Well, he's basically telling us that he's given Netanyahu all the permission and all the cash and all the military hardware he needs to continue his ethnic cleansing, his genocide, his war crimes, his war of starvation, and that Trump is behind him. I don't see any end to this unless Trump changes his mind, because public opinion is so overwhelming here. But then again, he's got the lobby to deal with.
Yep. He's not going to change his mind. And then he goes on today making fun of, again, I'm no fan of AOC, but today you have, AOC plus 3, and you have all these lunatics, and they're real because they're against the genocide. You're a lunatic if you're against Israeli genocide.
Right, right.
And now, of course, they formally announced it's genocide now, that genocide group. It's been genocide for how long? Again, you saw what Trump did. If you have Palestinians see their U.S. visa approval suspended, you saw that, right?
All Palestinian visas will be denied, no matter the reason for coming into the United States, whether it's for medical treatment, whether you are an official at the UN, whether you want to visit a relative, whether you're a scientist whose brain is valuable to Princeton, Harvard, Yale, or whatever. No Palestinian can enter the United States. What do they think they gain by that? All they do is isolate us more so from the rest of the world. Ritter claims that, and he's probably going to say this at your rally on September 27th, that Marco Rubio keeps whispering into Trump's ear and encouraging more wars in Latin America and invading Iran.
Yeah, again, Suppose this headline, this is from the New York Times, Palestinians see their U.S. visa approval suspended. What if it said Israelis see their U.S. visa approval suspended? Oh my God, how could you do that? This is a Holocaust being committed against the Palestinian people. Were there 2 million people that were living in Gaza?
Correct.
Totally destroyed. Their homes blown, nothing, hardly anything left. Killing, here, it's day after day. Here. Gaza Health Ministry says Israeli fire killed 76 in the past day, including 12 health seekers, aid seekers. Haaretz. Suppose it read, Israeli Health Ministry says Palestinian fire killed 76 Israelis in the past day. Oh my God, this is terrible. But nobody cares that they're Palestinians.
Well, we have a government that is bought and sold by the Israeli lobby. Congress, with a handful of exceptions, Thomas Massie comes to mind.
Yep.
And certainly the White House, you just quoted the president acknowledging that.
Yep.
When he says the lobby or the lobbying efforts, he means AIPAC and Mrs. Adelson.
Yeah, that's very sad. Judge, thank you for everything that you're doing. And everybody, you got to go to Judging Freedom. The people, yeah, who do you have coming up there, Judge?
I have Phil Giraldi coming up
what a
today, one of your biggest fans and a great human being that we both know and love.
Yep. So go to Judging Freedom if you want to see information and facts that you're not going to get anywhere else. So remember, September 27th, up the Four Corners of Freedom, Crown and John Street. Judge Andrew Napolitano, Scott Ritter, Joe Laurie, and others are going to be here. So be here, please, because we need peace on earth, goodwill to all. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Gerald. All the best, my friend.